out tens of millions of unsolicited ballots without any verification measures whatsoever?
Well, we're interrupting this because what the President of the United States is saying, in large part, is absolutely untrue. He began, and we're not going to allow it to keep going because it's not true.
Well, hello again, folks. It's been a while. I'm going to share a video with you next. This happened in a courtroom here in the United States that I don't think any of you guys have seen it. In 2014, talked about a program that talks about rigged programming for election, local election for that matter. But I really hope that you share this video, subscribe. If you don't know how to subscribe, text me or find out how you do that. We've seen the celebration last night that Biden won the selection. I call it selection for a reason. And just when you think that 2020 couldn't get any worse, right? Well, I know for a fact that presidents are selected by the elites, by the bankers. So we've seen these people celebrating the U.S. government involvement in subverting the will of the people by throttling election results. That's what they did. They've done it before. I think they've done it in the Bush, just not to be biased. They've done it back in the Bush election as well. So you understand, I'm neither for this or for that. I don't believe in election anymore. It's selection. My vote doesn't count. Neither does yours, by the way. Joseph Stalin said if voting, it's not who votes, it's who counts the votes. And that man, well, that monster, went on to dictate the Soviet Union for 30 years, 3 decades. He must have known something, right, when he said that. So it doesn't matter what party you belong to. When it comes to the election fraud, American people lose out big time at the end. And we've seen quite a bit of celebrations in the streets, especially by those poor kids that have no idea what's in store for them. They have no idea what's going on. They really don't. They got the face diaper on because somebody told them there's a pandemic. And it really looks, I mean, just try for a moment. Look at how people behaving out in the streets everywhere with these muzzles. There's something behind that. Those evil people enjoy watching the sheeple just comply, completely comply. What's next? Swine shit pandemic where it's mandatory to wear diapers? It's coming. It's coming. But hey, it's like those kids. I mean, I really feel sorry for the kids. I love kids. They're literally begging to be controlled. It's like a cakewalk for what's coming down the pike by the cabal. That's what's going on. Cheering and waving the flags of tyranny while wearing face diapers to complete this total lie. It's the same flags they were burning, by the way, because Trump was president. It's ironic, isn't it? Well, I'm going to rest easy because I didn't vote this time. I used to vote for the lesser evil, I used to say. But there's no such thing. I just don't vote at all because there's no winners in this snake race. No one. We're all losers. It is what it is. That's my opinion. You don't have to agree with me, but someday you'll understand the peace and quiet that some of us in the know. Anyway, I hope you stay around to watch this coming video. It's eye-opening, really. I just stumbled on it. I can't believe that I've never seen it before, but this should be interesting. Stay tuned. Subscribe, please, and share the video. You got nothing to lose, I guess.
Mr. Curtis, would you please state your full name for the record?
My name is Clinton Eugene Curtis.
And where do you reside?
Tallahassee, Florida.
And what is your profession?
I'm a computer programmer.
Would you please speak into the microphone so the audience can hear your testimony?
I'm a computer programmer.
Mr. Curtis, are there programs that can be used to secretly fix elections?
Yes,
How do you know that to be the case?
because in October of 2000, I wrote a prototype for President Congressman Tom Feeney at the company I work for in Oviedo, Florida, that did just that.
And when you say did just that, it would rig an election?
It would flip the vote 51-49 to whoever you wanted it to go to and whichever race you wanted to win.
And would that program that you designed be something that elections officials that might be on county boards of elections could detect?
They'd never see it.
Mr. Would you answer that question once again?
They would never see it.
So how would such a program, a secret program that fixes the election, how could it be detected?
You would have to view it either in the source code, or you'd have to have a receipt and then count the hard paper against the actual vote total. Other than that, you won't see it.
All right, Mr. Curtis, if you had been asked, you or others with your professional expertise had been asked to design a protective program that would protect the Ohio elections from against such software to fix the election, could you have done so?
If we've been asked to make a program that can fix the election, sure, anybody can do it.
No, could you have designed a program or a procedure or a protocol that would have protected Ohio against this kind of rigging?
No, you have to look at the source code. You have to get probably programmers from both or all parties to look at the source code and determine if there's anything in there that shouldn't be there. I mean, it's a simple program. You're adding 1 to a person's total. It's 100 lines of code tops.
All right, are you aware of whether there was any protective action in Ohio against this kind of vote rigging through software?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
You were not asked to assist in the development of any protective system, is that correct?
No, I was not.
Have you reviewed at all the election results in Ohio?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Given the availability of such vote rigging software and the testimony that has been given under oath of substantial statistical anomalies and gross differences between exit polling data and the actual tabulated results, do you have an opinion whether or not the Ohio election, presidential election, was hacked?
Yes, I would say it was. I mean, if you have exit polling data that is significantly off from the vote, then it's probably hacked.
And your testimony is under oath,
Yes, sir.
and the testimony you've given is true.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And I have the same question. Back to the podium. Who did you say you were asked to prepare?
I was asked by Tom Feeney. He's now congressman. At that time, he was Speaker of the House of Florida, Yang Enterprises, which was the company I work for, lobbyist, and their corporate attorney. Who wore a lot of hats.
And at the time, he was the Speaker of the House of Florida. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Congressman,
You saying he was the lobbyist for the voting machine company at the same time he was Speaker of the House?
I don't know what the voting machine company is. He was a lobbyist for Yang Enterprises. We had NASA contracts and
And Yang Enterprises did what? Computers?
computers.
Okay, and he was your lobbyist. Your
He was
company.
a lobbyist for that company,
And
yes.
he asked you to design a code to rig an election
Yes.
while he was Speaker of the Florida House.
Yes.
This was during or previous to the 2000 election?
Yes. October into September.
And did he ever express why he wanted a code to rig an election?
No, I immediately assumed that they were trying to keep you guys from cheating. So I wrote up the documentation of what you would look for in the source code, how you would make sure that you didn't get, taken advantage of, make sure that all voting machines had receipts, because that way you could back count the ones that looked a little funny. And I handed it
By receipts, you mean a paper trail?
Yes, paper trail. And I handed that in to Mrs. Yang and said, here's your report, here's your program. And she said, you don't understand, we need to hide the fraud in the source code.
Hide the fraud, not reveal it.
Not reveal the fraud, because we needed to control the vote in South Florida, was what she said.
That's what she said.
That's
To your knowledge, To your knowledge, was this used?
I have no idea. I was ready to leave, so I retired and left the
Your
company.
testimony a moment ago, I think you said just before you left in answer to Congresswoman Todd Jones' question, that, would you just repeat what you said in terms of the exit polls?
Oh, the exit polls should not be significantly different from the vote.
And if they were, you would conclude what?
I would conclude someone's playing with the vote.
Now with the exit polls?
That's possible too.
Okay, I can explain.
Something is definitely skewed.
Something is skewed in one or the other about it.
Right. To select which one, you'd have to see where the problem is.
Let me ask you one further question. Assuming for the moment that such software, that's what you call it, such software to rig a vote was used in one or more machines in Ohio or in Florida, could you today detect that if you look at the source code?
If you get the machines and they have not been patched yet, I mean, once they get in and touch them, anything can happen. You can also set timers to that, but then you see the timers. Then you'd have to take those machines, decompile them, which I couldn't do, but possibly a Microsoft, an MIT, something could do. You might be able to see it.
You might.
Not necessarily. Depends on how good they are at destroying what they had.
Destroying what they had by tampering the machine afterwards or by programming a destroyed instruction in the first place?
Right, because since you did
Both, either or both?
either or both, you didn't actually see what's in there, so you don't know if the code is running in a single executable or running in various modules. If it's running modules, you can make the code actually eat itself.
Let me ask you one further question. I've been told that people who assume that lots of the election results, or that a large fraction of the election result in a state may have been affected by deliberate fraud on a computer, are paranoid because in order to do that, you have to have access to thousands of machines, and that would be readily detectable. To what extent is that true?
It depends on the technology you use. If you did a central tabulation machine that fed in, all you have to do is set a flag. You set a flag, the central tabulation machine would then flip your vote.
So one person putting in bad code in a central tabulation machine could affect thousands and thousands or tens of thousands of votes.
Right, and you could activate either automatically, or you could make it so that there's code existing on like an electronic machine that feeds it, where you would punch it in, it would set the flag, the server would see the flag, and then.
And if you had a recount, and there were no paper trail, would that be, assuming that had happened, would that be revealable by seeing a discrepancy between what the central tabulator showed and what the individual machines, which had not been tampered with, showed?
Not if I wrote it,
Why not? In other words,
I could make it match.
you could work back from the tabulator to the individual machines, so the tabulator would tell the machines to switch their results,
Yes, it talks both ways. You can flip it
Congressman,
to whatever you need.
and they actually do talk to each other, the
Yes.
machines
As
and
long
the
as it's
tabulator.
hooked up, as long as it's networked together, they can talk to each other.
So in other words, there's absolutely no assurance whatsoever on anything with regard to these machines.
Absolutely none, unless you look at the source code and make sure it's safe before it goes in.
Thank you very much.
thank you, Congressman Mathers. I know that Congresswoman Waters has a question, and then Senator Miller, and then Congresswoman Stephanie Tubbs Jones.
This will only take a moment if you would come back to the,
I knew this.
as you know, there has been a lot of discussion about, I think it was Diebold Company, their relationship to the president and the administration, and supposedly comments about helping to ensure that the president was reelected. In your world, in your environment, have you heard any of this kind of discussion? Do you know people who work for Diebold? Do you have any sense of any actions that may have been taken?
I don't know anything about that at all.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Senator Miller?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Sir, I suspect people will attack you in terms of your credibility. Could you restate once again your credentials?
I'm a programmer. I work for NASA, work for ExxonMobil, work for Florida Department of Transportation, and other elements of my story, because this company, well, let's get into it, why not? This company also, they had NASA contracts, and they were basically downloading tons of information, I mean gigabytes worth, and handing off to this little Chinese guy named Henry Nee, and it didn't seem right, and he was hacking things, and I wrote a program for DOT that allowed contractors to send their information into DOT, and he was kind of the quality assurance guy for software. He put a wiretapping module in the program that went out to the contractors so that it actually sent everything they sent back to Yang. So I reported all of this, and just last March, I think, he was arrested for attempting to send anti-tank missile chips to the capital of Communist China. So, if that's correct, this is such a small thing. Of course, I think he only got a $100 fine. And no time.
Thank you. Congresswoman Stephanie Tubbs Jones.
Thank you.
Thank you. We are now going to